Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the most professional StarCraft 2 player. The greatest of all time, the finisher. It's Serral. Up against the rank 1 Protoss in Korea, and probably the world, the smiling assassin. It's Hero. A best of 3 Protoss versus Zerg. Hero with the highest hill to climb, and Serral with an opportunity for the umpteenth time to prove himself as the most elite player in StarCraft 2 history. And speaking of, Jimmy, what are we? 1,337 likes on this video, on this cast, in this series. And I'll cast another one, and I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. And if you haven't made it there yet, it'd be awesome if you could subscribe. Though, there's a video every day, so it's really not that complicated to figure out when the next one's coming up. Moving on. Void Ray first. I like it. Why? The only way you're ever going to be able to get an edge on Serral is if you keep him completely in the dark. And I'm not talking about the Korean Zerg player, because he's beaten him too. But instead denying all scouting information. Even a single Zergling has been the hero, pun somewhat intended, of Serral's scouting arsenal. And as the accountant of Zerg, there is no clear weakness to exploit. Just a lack of information is the only way to keep Serral at bay. But it's almost impossible to do so. Even if you have oracles for revelation, Serral's somehow going to get that info. He slips by with the Zerglings, intentionally avoiding the Void Ray. More like in a Void Ray, am I right? Oracle comes out, uses some of its energy. He already killed, was that 2 Adepts? Yeah. He gets 2 Adepts, has the Oracle use its energy, and now Serral back at home starts a Roach War. He scouted the 3rd base timing. He knows there's an Oracle follow-up, which means tech is slightly delayed at least. And the Void Ray itself kind of gives away an interest in denying information. The Void Ray is not going to be doing critical damage. What is this drone? Serral? Did he make a mistake? Anyone else, I'd be like, what a misclick. But with Serral, I'm like, is he going to use Proxy Hatch Creep in order to do a Spine Crawler rush on the 3rd? No, he made a mistake. All right. He's trying to prove to us he is indeed human. 2 Oracles at the natural. Only 1 drone killed so far between the Void Rays and the Oracles. They will come in from the side. He tries a stasis. Pulls back. Oh my god. He doesn't even bother triggering it, just takes it out. He has detection with the Spore. Nope, the Queens boxing out again. More Queens spreading the creep. 4th base on the way. Void Ray should be able to work on it. Zergling's still sharking around, looking for any opportunities. All the fancy beams here, blue and green, as the Queens come down to thoroughly disagree with their activities here. And as the Queens come home, the Void Ray even taking a little bit of damage. Starts up the 4th base again. Sir! Susan, well, it's game 1, Susan. Oh, get off my creep! Wow, I can't believe he just stood there. It's so lazy. They're Protoss, alright? They got complacent. That's just rude. True, but rude. Hydra is dead on the way. Roaches. Serral taking out that Void Ray is not a massive victory, but anything helps when it comes to blunting the effect of something like a Blink Stalker +1 push. A build that Hero has pioneered and used to great success against pretty much every Zerg not named Serral. It relies entirely on hitting before layer tech kicks in, really building momentum and forcing out things like roaches and lings, which, while they're okay against the stalkers, they don't scale particularly well against a critical mass of blink stalkers. And more importantly, they limit the Zerg's drone count, because you have to use all your larvae to continually build units. Unfortunately, Hero's push is somewhat slow in the grand scheme of things, and that means Serral's going to have Hydras out with groovy spines about to complete with +1 range. There's some stasis at the back. The Zerglings wrap around. Does he see the stasis? And is it even relevant? Catches a few more Stalkers, forces the Oracle to light up. Hero still pushing forward. He's got a shield battery with the push as well. But the Hydra concave. No, Hydras. Hydras are exactly what you need to deal with this. If you go for Hydras too fast, the Stalkers cut through all the chaff, aka Zerglings, and are able to take them out. But Serral has plenty of Zerglings and plenty of economy alongside this. So Hero needs incredible Blink Micro and a bit of luck in order to make sure he can get any damage done without losing a critical amount of his Stalkers. Oh my. I can't. I don't know if that was a reaction or just fortuitous, but it just seems to work out. A single roach caught by the stasis. More Zerglings at the back somehow evade another stasis. Triggers yet another one harmlessly at the back line. +1 armor is about to complete. The Oracles come in, light up, and now Hero's just going for it. Charge lots. Drones pulled off the line. Serral pulled to the brink. The Oracles will go down momentarily, all three of them. The Hydra's mostly cleared up because the charge lots and the Blink Stalkers were able to close the distance. Are you kidding me? He only lost 2 drones. He pulled the drones into the fight and only lost 2 of them? My God. All right, if you're going to work for anyone, I found the first choice here. Caring for his workers' lives. He uses them just to... Look at how many... the Queen's also getting bruised, but not beaten. And Hero, if the first push doesn't do the damage, the follow-ups don't get any easier. If Serral still has 4 bases with enough economy to comfortably mine, he's just building Hydras and Lings. That's not quite a hard counter, but it's not a soft counter. It's a semi-hard counter. And more Hydras are on the way. Double Robo for Hero. Serral's counterattack, feeling more comfortable. Now this is a bit dicey. Splitting off any Zerglings means he has less in front of the Roach Hydra. And it makes it a little easier for the Stalkers to pick off important groups of units. But Serral is so great about towing that line. Right on the edge of things. With having just enough units to defend, splitting off any extra for counterattack, while maintaining enough economy for production. God. I think that's the real art form here. It's not particularly flashy. He doesn't crush armies, he just beats them. And eventually the weight of it, there's just not enough here. The Stalkers did not do enough. The counterattack slowed things down. The upgrades aren't there. Serral has enough to continue the Roach Hydra. Where the Stalkers go, they're on the run, caught between a rocket. They're going to try to blink up, but Serral's going to take out most of their number in the process. And 173 to 120 supply. I can't get over how he only lost 2 drones after pulling them into the fight. There's a single Ravager here. He might try to force field the ramp. He does. The single Ravager proves its value, knocks it down. Another force field. But Serral target firing the sentries to make sure this transgression cannot happen again. One more force field on the ramp might hold the line. Hydra's pushing up against it, but Hero ends up losing a significant amount of supply in that fight anyways, and every single one of those expensive sentries that he ended up warping in. So 600 gas just pin cushioned by the Hydras. A force field thrown out, an emotional support field there, as none of it is going to stop Serral from rotating around and hitting the fort. Reinforcements streaming across 3 Immortals, which is much better than none, but it's still not a ton. As the game is looking all but won, as Serral has got the Stalkers on the run. That's it. Under the gun. Hero not having very much fun. The timing was sharp, the blink micro was solid. But Serral, he got to Hydra so quick. He was able to get his tech out without that weakness in the mid, like the early mid game, where you just don't have enough in front. And now, the Immortals are not particularly great against the Hydra Ling. In fact, there's not a single unit here Immortals do that bonus damage to. Snipes off the pylon, prevents the warping. And that's going to be it. Game 1 will comfortably go to the finisher. Serral with a decisive victory. Just boxing out every single attempt at early damage and slapping away everything past it. I don't think Hero, like, he lost the Void Ray, didn't get much done with the Oracles, but things didn't really go wrong. They just never went right. So, even money's not going to be enough. Going into Oceanborn for game number 2. It's... Whenever I watch Serral, I really try to watch for the details. Because that's it. Nobody goes to the DMV and says, wow, look at how efficient this line is. I think you can do it mostly online now, so it's not a great comparison. And also, it's just for those Americans out there. But whatever. But the positioning of the Queens, the bike row against things like Stasis, I gotta go back to, he's not crushing the army. He's just drowning it. Which is enough. Especially here on Oceanborn. So, Hero did force Serral to take the 3rd, as opposed to the Natural. Got that probe in early. Generally, that is, well, as you know, you're able to take either their natural or your 3rd as a Zerg, the vast majority of the time. The reason why Protoss tries to force the Zerg to take that 3rd is it's a lot easier to pressure with Adepts and Oracles if there isn't already creep in between all of the bases. So being spread more thinly makes it much easier to potentially get damage done. Affords you more opportunities. The Queens, they get real joint pain off of creep ever since they lost their wing. So just having that opportunity to split the defenses. But of course, Serral knows more than anyone about how to handle that multi-pronged harass. And I realize I'm not even trying to hide my bias. Like, this is an even money game where everyone can win. Now, Serral is smurfing in professional tournaments. Like, if somebody went 20-1, like at I Am Katowice, Serral went 20 wins, 1 loss. Not in matches, in games. Including against Maru with a 4-0. The only person to win was Dark, barely, with a Ling Bane all-in ZVZ. 1 game. So, if somebody went 20-1 on the ladder, you look at their match history, you say, that's a filthy smurf! Alright, killing the game! Just like people will say, watching Serral was boring. Killing the game, except... Well, you're here, for 1, like and subscribe. And 2, with my experience, people like to watch the best. Even if they'd already... It's almost a spoiler to see the outcome with his name in the title. So, this is not going in like an even money match. Even though Hero is the best Protoss in the world. I'm not sure what the statistical odds are, but I give Serral better than 9-1. The real question is whether Hero can take a game. If you gave him a best of 7, I'd say maybe. A best of 3, I'm not optimistic. Hero's style revolves around creating openings. Sometimes in his own base and to his own detriment. Just as Dark about that. Oh, he's got the Shady Bunch build. Oracles. And then the early Adept pressure. There's a dozen Zerglings on the field. The Queens are preemptively blocking the little nook behind the minerals that Protoss so commonly use in order to maximize damage. Adepts, he just shades... Wow. Wow. He recalls out, killing 0 drones. Got a few lings. Oracle's driven away. Another round of adepts on the way across. They don't have glaives. Serral does seem concerned. He's sending back the Zerglings. Tries to wall... Well, actually creates... Yeah, he just cancels the Evo chambers. I think he was trying to hardwall, but the queens are a little bit too thick, and they got in the way. As they do. The queens at the natural. Actually completes the shaded to the main. The drones are pulled. He's going to lose a lot of them here. I say that. Okay, 6. It's adding up. 8. 9. Okay, 9 drones. That's, okay damage. It is real damage. As Serral, just with another round of drones, well, actually is back into a worker lead momentarily, but a big investment, because that's about 3-4 rounds of warpins, especially on those early gates that he committed. That will severely delay any Blink Stalker follow-up, because usually 2 or 4 of those adepts would have been Stalkers instead. Is Serral going Swarm Hosts? Swarm Hosts have also become a bit less of a meme or even an accidental option. It could just be a rush to Hive. But even some Infestors are pretty nice against Blink. But that Infestation Pit is curious timing for either of those things. I'll see what direction he goes. Just afford him whatever options. He skipped the Hydra Den this time in favor of just the Roach Ling. So we'll see. Yeah, it doesn't have that much in the bank. The Blink Stalkers, he gets an Overlord. He's happy with that. There's a Hydra Den. There. Oh! Wow. So, Serral held on to his money. Got a Zergling Scout. Spotted the 4th base timing. Went over to the 3rd. Saw no gas. And decides, I'm just gonna go... Well, this is Lurkers. Because it's very likely to be a lot of charge lots. Almost certainly not gonna be a big Stargate switch. Unlikely to be Robo Bay either. So, it's going to be a lot of gateway units. Something that... Oh my, look at how many more... What is this? Is this a bunch of oracles? Brenda, no! I don't... 11 Hydras on the way. That's where the money went. He just kept building oracles. So Serral decides on getting 11 Hydras. Obviously, helpful against the oracles. Lurker Den now on the way as well. That's a lot. He's... Yeah, the Roach Hydra will be ready by the time the Stalkers have come across the map. And a lot of Stalkers warped in. 9 gates for Hero. He's taken a 5th Nexus. He's mass expanding, trying to rely on the danger that his gateway units pose. He's done a good job of keeping the creeps somewhat oppressed here. Repressed. Just back. I don't know. Something, whatever makes me sound smart. But the Hydras are done. The Zergling's on the field. +1 attack. +2 attack is about to complete. He gets the stasis. Charge lots get distracted by the Evo chamber. Looked like he might try to snipe it off, but actually just was the first target there for the charge lots. At the natural, a couple of Hydras get picked off. Actually, no. Serral micros some of them away, minimizes losses, and now has Lurkers in production. And Hero is just now building... He's building 3 Robos. Okay, but they don't build 3 times as fast. By the time those Robos are done, there will already be Lurkers, and they're going to be close to having range. So... Hero's like, oh, sweet liberty. I need robotics facilities yesterday. But unfortunately, while they have Chrono Boost, they can't go back to the future. And now, the Lurkers will be fully operational by the time the Robos arrive. Seismic spines will be done by the time a single robo unit joins production. There's already 9 lurkers and more in production. The charge lots getting sliced and diced to the north side. More lurkers with the main brunt of the attack. Hero has a pretty healthy amount of supply, but where is it? The stalkers are forced back. The charge lots managed to evade some of the lurkers and will do some damage. Roaches and Ling sent back. And Serral's starting to suffer some real losses here. The lurkers will get caught, though more of them are burrowed. Adaptive Talon's not done. Not able to reposition quickly. Charge lots 3 immortals. Maybe just in time, or maybe a little too late. It's unclear. Has detection on all those lurkers. There's enough Roach Hydra to make things difficult. The lurkers still intact. Just a couple of them, though. And Serral, oh no, he overruns the secondary army and wins the fight at the front. And Hero is down to 120 supply while Serral is scratching 200. Hero loses the base, loses both fights, and loses key parts of his army composition. Serral loses a bit of time out of his day. Archons and Immortals. A deadly combo, but the lurkers, even more lethal. Hero is pumping out the Immortals. If he had built the Robos a minute quicker and had 8-10 Immortals by the time the lurkers first came across, then maybe. He's still... God, that's a lot of damage. And he doesn't have another base to really fall back to. He's put up against it. The Hammer of Lurkers and the Anvil of the Nexus. The Overseer on the high ground, repositioning a bit, but more lurkers are about to complete. Serral, patient as ever, realizes Hero is setting up a flank and repositions to deal with it. He has the lurkers now spread out in multiple groups, making it very hard for the Immortals to pick them all off at once, while the rest of the army just rips through the defenses. Serral moves forward to reposition. Hero going into one of the most desperate base trades I've ever seen. And that's saying, there's also a Predator drone at the front leading the charge. There are lurkers back at home. There are queens holding the line. Serral actually wrapping around here. Gets caught a little off guard, but some of the lurkers are already able to escape. Is there a world where Hero can win this base trade? 5 Immortals and 4 Archons. He kills Serral's third, but Serral has 2 other bases to fall back to. And just the defensive army out of Serral is enough to give him pause. Meanwhile, Serral's cutting through into the natural. This will leave Serral with a mining base and Hero with barely any. 24 probes down. And Serral may be able to whittle down this army in general. He recalls back, but that means he's given up all control of the map. He will try to win this fight. Serral target fires the Immortals. GG. A decisive victory for the finisher as he cuts through. But we're not done. Let's make it clear, we're not done. Serral also up against the second highest ranked Zerg in all of Korea, with extra drama because it's SHIN, formerly known as Ragnarok. This is the Zerg who beat him very narrowly, and arguably didn't beat him at all. Serral just GG'd too early, setting up Oliveira's I Am Katowice championship. So, this is not just one of the best Zergs in Korea, but also some dramatic history. That is one of the last series in a major tournament that Serral has lost as well. So, and this is heading to the playoffs. Serral versus SHIN. Yes, I snuck a mirror matchup on you. But when Serral is playing, it's not really a mirror matchup, is it? Or, well, here's the thing. After that match, it feels like he upgraded his ZVZ. Serral's the kind of player who is just relentless mentally. It's a weird way to put it, but for many years, him and Raynor, and just Zerg versus Zerg in general, everyone, I don't think there's a weird minority of players who really like mirror matchups. But according to the YouTube algorithm, according to people on the ladder, and just Twitch chat in general, mirror matchups are not a favorite. Zerg versus Zerg is actually very interesting and has so much detail that is almost entirely better described with a spreadsheet. The timings of exact upgrades, how much larva you get in the early game, overlord placements, things that are kind of like a flowchart action-reaction and less of a back and forth, even though the fights are hectic and chaotic. Once you drill down and figure out which units counter what, it actually becomes an incredibly technical matchup, and it's a poker game, is what it is. More than Protoss versus Protoss, which is a lot more like blackjack. Poker's giving it far too much credit. And then Terran versus Terran, which is chess boxing, where you know what moves they're gonna make. Scan does that. But sometimes you just punch each other in the face. Zerg versus Zerg is really all about hiding what cards you can, right up until you don't anymore. The awkward part is overlords can see anything that comes out of your base. But they can't get into your base, at least until overseers, to see. So, unlike Terran versus Terran, you don't have perfect information. You have to work off of some educated guesses. Getting whatever you can. Serral always seems to get a Zergling in. But I think that makes it the most... I don't know. I'm personally not a huge fan of the mirror matchups. You really have to focus to get into it, in my opinion. Because of that, because you're looking at the same units at a very similar time. And here, Serral, he's built another round of drones. So actually, I wanna go to the Serral camp for a bit. Which is remarkably easy to follow because Serral isn't a particularly fast player. He's just an efficient one. I mean, injects and such notwithstanding. Obviously, the little mechanics like that. But just splitting off literally one Zergling dice sends out another lane. Evo chamber on the way. Making sure he has the queen in position. Just in case SHIN tries exactly the same thing that he's doing right now with his Zergling. And he did, and he got shut down. SHIN, though. Oh, but he saw the roaches. SHIN! Oh, no. Ain't that some SHIN? So, SHIN was also blocking at the natural, but he saw 6 roaches crowding up on the queen. Tailgating there. Tailgazing. The Zergling gets around. So even though Serral didn't know exactly what SHIN was doing, he's now got a very educated guess. He's got plenty of roaches and he's up 4 drones. He's gauged it correctly, but SHIN already has the roaches across the map, whereas Serral has a bunch in production. There's a single spine crawler on the way, indicating a bit less confidence. Oh, he cancels. He realizes he has the roach count, and he cancels the spine. SHIN bounces ahead in the drone count, but Serral quick to respond. And this is them on either side, constantly, well, that's the poker game. And Serral gets in with the Zerglings and sees the drone count, and oh my god, he gets into the natural! Does he see the double gas? He would have seen them mining with the Zergling. He could have seen the drones returning gas, but he doesn't actually see the gas gassers. Sees the +1 upgrading. So Serral will be significantly behind on the +1 upgrade, which is very important. The reason ranged attack is chosen over Carapace in general, or melee, is it upgrades the roach damage more than Carapace negates it. +1 roaches only take 2 hits to kill a Zergling rather than 3, and they don't attack particularly fast. And also, they take, I believe, 2 less hits to kill another roach. Something like 11 to 9, something like that. Rather than the Carapace upgrade, which only prevents 1 more. Because armor upgrades only add +1 armor, whereas attack upgrades scale with damage and attack time. So, things like siege tanks benefit a lot more from attack upgrades. Well, you shouldn't be facing siege tanks. Actually gets a lot of damage with that. Serral killed 12 lings with a baneling? The baneling, it attacked, so it doesn't count as a unit lost because it fulfilled its life purpose. Right. Anyone else empathize with that? Moving on. Speed is about to complete. SHIN, Serral's at full 3-base saturation, 66 rounds, but he doesn't have +1, he doesn't have speed. He's down 14 roaches in this fight. Banelings crash in to soften up. A queen on the back. Serral trying to box out for now. More queens adding what damage they can. But SHIN just has the roach count. Now, Serral's doing some target fire as well. The spine finishes to bolster the defenses. Serral finishes +1. The queens eat some of the damage. And Serral, holds perfectly. With exactly the amount. I think if he didn't have that spine, if he didn't have 2 or 3 queens in the fight, as soon as +1 finished, you could see that fight tilt towards Serral. Serral ends up killing 44 roaches, SHIN 35, and 3 ravagers. So, between the closer rally point for Serral, and the upgrades completing in a very timely manner, and the spine crawler added in, Serral holds with a... Wait, did he go for Overlord speed? Knowledge is power. Double Overseer, scouting the entire... He needs to know whether there are mutas. That's what he's scouting for here. I guess there's a small chance of going for, like, Hydras and Lurkers, but mutas are the big danger. Get caught off guard by mutas, you can still lose the game. But otherwise, if it's just roaches, he has more economy, he has more bases, and he has more roaches. Which means there's more chance that SHIN's gonna type 2 Gs than Trent... Yep. Wow. He read it all perfectly. That shoestring defense. Serral with exactly the amount of roaches he needed and no more. Means he holds the line and pushes back. In fact, he never actually attacked SHIN. SHIN just gave up. He knew it was coming next. So, Serral attacks with more roaches and more production, and SHIN loses. That's how it ends. Like, so, the writing very much on the wall there. The GG's very much in the chat. The constant sending out Zergling after Zergling. Getting Overlord speed as opposed to any other tech. That really tells you what Serral values more than anything else. Information. And there's one thing I value more than anything else. It's also information. Information that you've smashed that like button and subscribed. Well, I know it wasn't subtle. But it's a second series. We can sell out again, all right. All right, we're gonna start with the Serral cam here. A thing, like, you can copy. Serral's overlords move just as fast as yours. His drones build just as quickly. He starts at the same amount. So you can do exactly the same things for the early game. Honestly, overlords not the quickest in fact, overlords, I think, are the slowest unit in the game. So even floating buildings are faster, and they're not technically units, so yes, queens off of creep, give them some competition, but they can chase them down too. It's not a very fast chase, but constantly, he's constantly darting in to see anything at the wall. I think we get more value by just watching from Serral's perspective, because otherwise it's kind of hard to see. He's getting these split-second glimpses of what SHIN is doing. And that split second, and literally measured in fractions of a second, is enough. Queen's out at the front. Wow. He moved the queen to the front side of the hatchery to help deny scouting while still being in range to inject. Details. The Zerglings, by the way, just get in and see everything. He scouts the entirety of the creep, and he gets back into the main. He's gonna see when the gas is taken, how much is taken, whether there's a lair, how many drones, how many queens, how much energy those queens have, whether there's an Evo chamber. Scouts again, that's a roach warren, sees the gas on the low ground. The Zergling, it keeps going, and they don't stop coming. The Zergling's still in the main, still sees no lair, no second gas in the main. Finally, no wait, it's not dead. It comes back around, sees another gas. Oh my. The Zergling who could. Meanwhile, SHIN Zergling gets slapped down by the queen at the front. Roaches are on the way. Serral goes for a lair. And another Zergling comes around, sees the gases. Single Bane, dealt with. His Banelings boxed out. Zergling just chilling at the fourth. Literally, on... He loses a Zergling, he has another Zergling to send in. It's almost like an auto... It's like watching the AI. If you've ever played against the AI, which I think is more likely than other players, you know the AI has this weird habit to send out a scout, like not even a scouty worker, but just a worker that kind of patrols around. It feels like Serral is doing exactly that, except by actively microing Zerglings. Just has something out there. He has the APM to do so, so... Oh, the roach count. Nidus canceled. Second gas canceled. He was preparing for Mutus, is what was happening. He expected Mutus. There's so much gas. He was holding back for so long. He thought it was going to be Mutus, so he's setting up a Nidus to do a queen counter. But then the roaches pop out, and he's like, oh my. Creates a funnel for the Banelings with Evo chambers. Baneling damage minimized. Corrosive bile. Roaches boxing out, forming a concave on either side of the hatch. Does SHIN have +1? No. SHIN tried to rely... Essentially, SHIN was trying to telegraph Mutus. Serral was preparing for Mutus. But SHIN comes swinging out with the roaches and catches Serral off guard. But that pinpoint defense and that crisis management, too fast. And, well, now Serral's up 12 drones and 40 supply. So, it's all over but the crying. Serral knows what advantage he's in. He just does it, like, he knows he's winning. He's about to determine by how much. When he sees the lair morphing, oh my god. When SHIN sees Serral see the lair morphing, he just gives it up. He sees the Overseer, which means that Serral already has a lair done, which means he's streets ahead. Oh my. That was more one-sided than a Mobius strip, and we're not done yet. That was worse than the last. I mean, better than the last one. I think we need to just stay on the Serral perspective, because these little details are things that only become obvious when you're watching from Serral's side of things, in my opinion. In fact, when I'm actually trying to learn, arguably, I usually use the default observer interface as opposed to the fancy caster one we got here. Because that way it feels a lot more like the regular game and actually playing. But we'll stick with it for now. Serral with a leisurely 2-0. Not leisurely, but comfortable. He clearly, like, the Zergling who could. The Scouting League survived like a full minute in the main. It's almost trolling at that point. And, again, I'm unapologetic with my bias for how ridiculously good Serral is. Because I need to drive the point home to the admittedly small percentage of people who think he's boring. Alright? Sure. He might not do... He might not do the crazy, ridiculous strategies of Dark. He might not have the roller coaster swings of Raynor. Because he doesn't need to. Like, why do crazy strat when simple strat do trick? Hmm? Well. 2 in gas. Ah, he's timing it. Look at the timing on the gas and the minerals. He's gonna have just enough. Oh, he decided against Zergling speed? He starts it. Oh, he's too slow. What a noob. This guy's a noob. Trying to deny the Zerglings. They will get in. Oh, wait, is it a fake? No, he's not going to cancel wing speed. It's a fake! Oh my. He started it anticipating the Scouting Ling. Or at least for the benefit of the Scouting Ling. I don't know if he would have continued it otherwise. But cancels it and goes straight for the lair. He sees that SHIN has a 3rd base. That's all the info he has right now. SHIN is sending out some zoning links. Serral sets up the queens. Usually you'd want the queen with the least energy in the front, but in this case he already has 1 transfuse behind, so SHIN's not getting through. Usually you want the queen with the least energy in the front so you have the transfuses behind it, but just flat Zerglings are not going to be enough here. Why are there drones coming across the map? Serral saw it. The drones are heading back now. And Overlord's gonna get taken out by Queens. Get off my creep! Susan, creep is creep, alright? We don't discriminate. I discriminate! Leave it to Karen, please. Shut up, Brenda. Come on. So Serral comfortably getting his 3rd. And the queens. Is this a soul stroll? Against Zerg? What year is it? Oh my god, he's doing a queen / roach walk with this early creep to kill the overlords as well. The queens are coming. He's gonna take out the overlords of SHIN on the way. Spots the lair, but I want to point out Serral's strategies have all kind of hedged against mutas. Mutas are the big kind of surprise card that some players will try to pull in Zerg versus Zerg. But every single time Serral has been very actively scouting and setting himself up to potentially deal with mutas. He has the option to bring like this strategy. He has the queens at the front. So, last game he had the Nidus on the way. The first game, he was so consistently scouting, it couldn't have been hidden from him. The Ravagers, well, the queens will finish off the SHIN supply blocked. Oh, no. It's a disaster. How is it? He's up 21 supply, +1 ranged attack. He's using the spot of creep from the Overlord. The transfuse is pulling things together. +1 ranged attack is superior to +1 carapace, and Serral looking to demonstrate it here. The transfuse is keeping things together. corrosive bile, mostly a zoning tool rather than damage, but anytime without the DPS. And Serral just coming over, stiff arming SHIN. It's not even close. And, oh my, triple kill of the Overlords. Not that it matters. He's not going to be supply blocked again. GG. A triple kill on SHIN. Serral with a strong series against Hero. And then, oh, wow, he bopped him. He did well against Hero, but against SHIN, it just looked like another league. And I want to stress, SHIN is currently the 10th ranked player in the world, and the 2nd highest ranked Zerg in Korea, 4th highest overall. Serral, 1st on all counts. So, SHIN, not a pushover by any means. But this time around, he got shoved. What do you think? I'm glad I didn't try to cast this like a normal series. Okay? First things first, just like a retrospective here. I think we needed to appreciate the level that Serral's at. No matter military service, no military, it doesn't matter. But, wow. Even and especially in ZVZ. Either way, I hope I made your day a little bit better. Let me know if you want to see more of the first-person style perspective and stuff like that in the future. Otherwise, thank you for watching. If you got the means of motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon. There's so many you've been doing lately. It's awesome, and I really appreciate it. YouTube membership as well. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free for now. Thank you for watching. If you haven't yet checked out the second channel, by the way, Winter Game. Okay, this is going on too long. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.